Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias.
Hello everybody, Tobias here, and well, today's Memorial Day, and a lot of people end up putting up a video on Memorial Day to honor the folks who didn't make it back. That's really what Memorial Day is about, is to honor the military service members who made the ultimate sacrifice during war, protecting the country and providing us with the freedoms and liberty that we have today in the United States. And I was kind of hard-pressed trying to think of how to do this, how to give it a good shot, especially considering this is a knife channel. And I finally decided maybe what I would do is look at a knife that has been serving the United States military for a very long time and was actually more a part of a kit. And that's the way the folks in the military would normally see it, as part of the Lineman Kit. And because we usually just see the TL-29 by itself, I thought maybe it's time to actually look at the TE-33 Lineman Kit. Now, because we hear Lineman Kit, we think this is something that was just used by the Signal Corps. That is far from the truth. Not everyone was in the Signal Corps dealing with field telephones. Basically, the infantry had them all over the place as well. So did the pseudo-armor forces, and even when we went mechanized and everything, you would actually have a phone inside your track, and you could actually wire the tracks together when you were setting up in the defense. And field telephones were used throughout by the U.S. military, basically since there's been telephones in the U.S. military. So World War I, field telephones were very much in use, especially in the trenches. During World War II, anytime you were in the defense, you would usually set up field telephones, and it would be running everything from the outpost in front of the line all the way back to division headquarters. You would have somebody monitoring a field telephone when you were in the defense. So it was a major method of communication, and more reliable than radios, and also harder to tap into. You actually had to find a line and then tap into it in order to hear it. Or you would need to take over a location, and then you might be able to tap into it or something like that. But field telephones were big, and I believe they're probably still big today. I don't know 100% for sure now, but they were still being widely used all the way into the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. The one I'm familiar with was the TA-312, which was just in a canvas pouch, and it weighed around 10 pounds or so. And then you would run wire around everywhere, hooking one line to another one, and then somewhere along the way you would end up into a switchboard. The wire was known as WD-1 wire, and you needed wire cutters for that. And so whoever was dealing with all that would have the TE-33 Lineman Kit. And I have two examples here, and I will show you what these are. The first one, this is the one that is most people are familiar with. This is a leather case. It's known as the CS-34. These came out just before World War II, and they were still in service well into the 2000s. And as you can see, there's two pouches on this with these funky clips that you press down to hold it in place. These clips can wear out, and then you have the belt loop on the back here, and you see here holder linesman pliers, one each. This is the national stock number, which also lets you know that this is a more modern one. This is one made sometime after 1974. That's when the national stock numbers were adopted. but the leather case is still built the same way as before. The snaps are still the same. They didn't change. Got to be careful here. This one is a tricky snap on this one. Okay, there we go. And I moved the camera a bit. Okay, let's go. And then the other snap. And then you have the two pouches in here. And as you can see, you have the TL29, the knife that everyone talks about, the Lineman knife, is carried in the top portion here. This is one from, is this Camillus? Yeah, this is Camillus. It's a 3-line. This was made shortly after World War II, most likely. We're all very familiar with the knife. You know, you've got the Spearmaster blade, which does not lock, but does have a half stop. And then you have the screwdriver blade, which does lock because, well, you don't want it to close up on you when you're trying to screw things. And the field telephones and just about everything else that you would be required to connect with this knife uses a flathead screw, so the flathead screwdriver is all you needed. This is the wire stripper portion here. And then you've got the brass liner locked down the middle, which you need to use to close, right? And then what you have with it are a pair of pliers also, and these are also wire cutters. Now, these are the TL13 pliers. Now, this particular one, as you can see here, is marked Crescent USA 1905-6, 152 millimeter, 6-inch pliers basically, and the Crescent number for it was a 1950. And as you can see, got the pliers up front for crimping things, and then in the middle is the wire cutters, which would be used for cutting the WD-1 wire, as well as other things. You could use it for cutting barbed wire and stuff like that too. But these would be the pliers that come with it. They sit in the bottom portion, and they sit down here. You close it up, get the knife all the way down, close it up, and there you have it. This is the TE33. The pouch is the number CS74 pouch. I'm sorry, CS34 pouch. So the TE33 actually has 3 parts to it. The C34 pouch or CS34 pouch, the TL13 pliers, and then the TL29 electrician knife or linesman knife. TL stands for telephone linesman. Now, this one back here, this is an older one. You don't see it as often, but it is essentially the same thing. It is still known as the TE33, but as you can see, this one is using a web pouch. Now, this pouch was used sometime around 1944 and 1945. That's when they were being made, and it was because of a shortage of leather. And as you can see, this one's a little interesting. It's got a heavy duck webbing going on. You've got the webbing for the belt loop on the back here, and it also has the hanger for off of the web belt that you have going with it. But it still uses the same 2 snaps in the front to hold it all together and hold it in place. And as you also notice, it's got a metal slab going across the bottom so it won't fall apart. Otherwise, it is sewed together and riveted together. And these were made, believe it or not, a lot of them, once France was liberated, so after June, July 1944, these started getting made in France for the U.S. military. One of those things where they were like, we need to try and get production running in France, get this country back on its feet and stuff. So the U.S. military contracted with France to make these, and they were also being made in the United States. But these were one of the first things that France started making, and they were making them for the U.S. military at the time. Inside, let me just get this open. Okay, there we go. Got it open again. You have an earlier TL29. This one is from Ulster. a TL29 with the wood handles. I've shown this before. Again, with the lock there. Lock is worn out a little bit, but we see here it is stamped TL29, and this is one that would have been made during World War II. And then here we have a pair of TL13 pliers. You can see these are actually marked TL13, and these were made by Utica Drop Forged Tool in Utica, New York, USA. Were these made during World War II? Can't really say for certain. What we can say is that they were definitely made for the U.S. military because they are stamped TL13. And, you know, nice little pliers. The same thing going on with it, though, with the wire cutters there and then the crimping portion up front. Now, these were also used by demo men and everything else. So if a guy was setting up C4 charges or something like that, they would be running wire and stuff, so they would also be using these. You use them for setting all sorts of other things up, wire, stringing wire, and everything else. So everyone in the U.S. military is probably familiar with these, the TL13 pliers and the TL29, as well as the CS34 case. Now this case, the web ones, you don't find those in the U.S. military anymore. And this is also known as the CS35A. It's not the CS34, but it was basically an accepted substitute for the CS34 in the waning years of World War II. After World War II, most of these ended up being sold to the French army, and the French ended up using them more all the way up and through the Indochina War in 1954. So some of these ended up getting used by the Vietnamese army on both sides. The North and South Vietnam would have been using some of these with the webbing on here, but they were really made during World War II. The French may have continued to make them after World War II, but probably not. They probably had enough in stock, and especially after they got all the leftovers from the U.S. military. But this is the one more people are familiar with, the CS34 with the TL13 pliers and the TL29 knife. A couple people were asking about these things, so I thought I would break it out here for Memorial Day and show you what they were asking about. So when it's all together as a kit, it is known as the TE33. The pouch, the leather pouch, CS34, and the pliers, TL13 or TL13A, and the knife, the TL29, and the web pouch, if you find one of those, it is a CS35A. Hope that helps explain a little bit about that, and you know, take a little time, go someplace for Memorial Day and honor our fallen. Find a veteran cemetery or something and go take a little time to reflect, maybe. That's really what Memorial Day is for, to honor those who have defended the country and gave it all so that we could have our freedom and liberty today. In any case, with that said, I will let you go. Sorry I stumbled through this a little bit, but hope you found it worthwhile.
let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.